Okay, one bow to the Buddha. Okay, first prostration. Okay, second prostration. Third prostration. One bow to the Buddha again. Okay, please stay. Okay, please stay. Okay, as normal, we try to recite Guan Yin Pusa Sen Hao. So we take this opportunity to transfer today whatever we attend lesson, the merit and the chanting the merit, right, to the people, those who are passed away. I mean, this one is the 7th month. And the second, of course, we transfer the merit to our country because the nation is coming. Hopefully the country, prosperous country, and safe, prosperous and safe, very important. Huh? Okay, so shall we hold the pan and follow me? 南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无 观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨，南无观世音菩萨。OK， 不利索了。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。OK。Okay, good morning all brothers and sisters. The volunteer class monitors, please close the curtain. No, avoid the distraction. Okay, first announcement. Our next lesson will be on in 2 weeks' time, right? 21st of August, right? 21st of August. And the 21st August, so probably this module, the last module, probably will be end around November, right? 16 lesson. This one today, okay, close. Those people pakwa one, I want to see inside what happening. Then you also pakwa one, want to see what they are doing, you know. So dependent origination, they depend on you, they depend on them. Okay, anyway, wish you in advance, right? Happy National Day in 2 days' time. All right, after 2-3 years of pandemic, right? So more or less like government really fully open, right? 火力全开, you know, just like now, Taiwan and China, right? Now have a military drill, full force one, 100%. Yeah. Later on we talk about theory, so probably some theory will link up to the one. So we will talk a little bit, but not politics. Okay, please refer to your textbook, page 28. Let me see which one. Page 274, right? Should be page 274. So we more or less going to Prashna, right? Wisdom, Prashna. Now, so we have a quick one to recap what I have taught you for the previous lesson, so that we can link up to this morning one, today's lesson. Now, of course, before we talk about Prashna, according to the 6 perfection, due to or 6 paramita, we talk about the giving, patience, right, precepts, diligence, before we put in effort, then concentration. And we know that concentration, according to Mahayana tradition, I mean, this great vehicle, not only single-pointed, your mind must be very focused, but rather than physically, we feel the wonderful joy, 清安乐 in Chinese. So we call it cessation, 这个止成就, if you can recall. Right, because even your mind focus can be focused, but if you're physically not comfortable, so that will affect our mind. So you affect each other, mind, physical body, and mind. Because the combination of both of these, and we make our human being. 人身心组合 in Chinese, right? Physical body and spiritual one and mind. Huh? Okay, so then we talk about Prashna. So Prashna wisdom, 智慧, and we know Prashna wisdom in English. Or insight, it's actually referred to sunya, or we call it emptiness, 空. Right? And we know that the difference between the knowledge and wisdom. Right? Wisdom means, emptiness. Then knowledge, which means that, existence. Chinese called you. And this will cause us attachment, cling on to the external object. That's how we cause suffering. Just like you have a computer knowledge, even you study until the highest degree, PhD or master degree or whatever, or poly diploma, so what? Because all these are knowledge. All right? Gain the knowledge, scientific knowledge or whatever. But this one we call it existence. Right? Because it's something to do with the fame and status, because some people will cling on to attach to the external object. We got to cling on to the fame and status. So even for those politicians, right? They want the authority and money, just like this Pelosi, the speaker, US one, came to visit China. All this, before she stepped down in November, right? So people want to create a kind of atmosphere that, to bring out your reputation, your status, authority, something like that. But all these are politics. So existent knowledge. And we know that the wisdom is beyond knowledge. Yeah, beyond knowledge. Just like you come here to gain the Dharma knowledge. But you still have a affliction, you're still suffering. Which means that you are not really have a wisdom. Out from the classroom, you still suffer, still cling to the external, physically or mentally. They're now pandemic. This no end one, no ending one. Okay? Then you see the whole world very unsafe. Ukraine-Russia war. So now come to Asia again. China and Taiwan. So anything out of sudden pops up, anything can happen. All right? And we call it impermanent. So in Buddhism, talk about impermanence cause suffering. You really can't predict what's going to happen. It's beyond your prediction. Right? So knowledge, and this knowledge beyond knowledge, and then become wisdom. Just like you take this one as a platform, then you go further, develop further. This attachment, this detachment, and this is called emptiness, and this is called wisdom. Right? And this is actually the unit, very important in Buddhism. So now, can you refer to the textbook? Page 274, verse 162. So now we're going to talk about the principle, right? The principle of prajna, 智慧的原理, principle. Prajna or wisdom, this is in Sanskrit. Prajna, Chinese called 般若 or 般若. They retrieve from, translated, retrieve from the Sanskrit word. So when you see this Chinese word 般若, we cannot do, the direct kind of pronunciation. Should be 般若 or 般若. All right, this is actually from prajna, right, from Sanskrit. So they say prajna is fundamentally undual, non-dual. Non-dual means 不二 in Chinese, non-dual. It means, of course, it's not two. I mean, from the surface, the meaning of the surface of the meaning, which means Chinese call 不二, non-dual. These are Buddhist terms. Means middle path, 中道. Right? It's not going to fall into the extreme. Not say I send middle path, I send the center. No, it's our mentality go beyond the two extreme. Right? Non-differentiation instead of differentiation. 分别, 不分, 无分别 in Chinese. So there's a lot of terminology expression, but it implies the same meaning. And this is a challenge for us to learn Buddhism. So therefore, you need to have a dictionary, because a lot of terminology, right? Just like you study science or computer or whatever, they do have the terminology, right? Or chemistry. So similar in Buddhism, also a lot of terminology. You can be say 无分别, non-differentiation, or middle path, 中道 in Chinese, or emptiness, or dependent origination, 缘起. They imply the same meaning but different expression. Some student outside, she asked me, he said, Venerable, how come they do have so many different expressions? And even some they using the same word but different meanings. I said, yeah, this is the difficulty in Buddhism. Right? So, the reason is, for instance, that they have different expressions but imply the same meaning, because it depends on how they apply this terminology in which area. 用在哪个地方. Therefore, they have a different expression. Okay? So therefore, in Buddhism, a lot of people may encounter people like you or me, myself. You encounter a lot of terminology one. But luckily, because you don't need to learn Sanskrit or Pali or Tibetan, so not too bad. If you need to read the original text, Pali or Sanskrit, this is what I learned in Bristol University. I think I can kill you. You spend so much time linguistic study, you say linguistic, and language is very complicated one. Okay, just like learn Japanese, aiueo, kakiku keko, udon dongci. So the grammar is so complicated. I tell you, the Sanskrit is the most difficult one. Sanskrit, Pali. If you know Sanskrit, you know Pali. They are quite similar. Then Tibetan. So these are the three languages in Buddhism. Okay, refer to a textbook. So non-dual means, detachment, 没有执着 means middle path, emptiness, non-differentiation, 无分别, emptiness, all this is called non-dual. This means absolute, in the absolute level, 绝对的 absolute. Right, absolute, right? Chinese called 绝对. Just like if you draw the triangle, we are in this relative level, and this is called absolute, 绝对的 vertical, right? Horizontal and vertical. Just like learn the coordination, right? In mathematics. This is y, this is x, right? Then x, y, something like that. You learn math. Then 2 points form a straight line. Okay, non-dual. So prajna is fundamentally non-dual. Then prajna is emptiness. 智慧就是空. I told you already, right? 空. So this non-dual 不二就是空. Detachment 没有执着. You cling on whether A or B. And this one called too extreme. And because we have a differentiated mind, 我们有分别心嘛. So therefore, usually we cling on to A or cling to B. But if you know dependent origination, 缘起, all things are dependent on causes and conditions. So therefore, nothing is permanent. Nothing is permanent. That's why you call it whatever the name in the world, how you call it, statue, computer, cup, wooden fish or whatever, or flower. All these are provisional name, 假名 gay, because it's subject to changes. Just like your name. Your name also 假的嘛. It's don't permanent fixed forever. Your parent give you the name, people address you, Ah Hui, then you go to an office, another name, John, David, or whatever Christian name, or your Dharma name, something like that. Right? And Buddha has 10 names, right? 十圣号. So it's, no big deal, right? We do have so many names. So prajna is fundamentally non-dual. However, the practice of varies because of people different capacity, 不同的根基. So in Buddhism capacity, in terms of they divided into two capacity, dull and sharp capacity, 钝跟利根 in Chinese. Dull and sharp capacity. If you use the money word down, it means people like you and me very stupid. We are not clever, not intelligent. Sharp, you're very sharp. People say you're sharp capacity, 利根, it means you're very intelligent. Very sharp, you're very intelligent. Very clever, 很聪明啦, if you use the money word. But here I've got wisdom, something that sharp capacity, those people have a wisdom. People like you come for Dharma class, so actually in the middle, 波堂赛, sharp and dull. If people go for chanting, solely chanting without understanding, and this is called dull capacity. We call it blind faith. Follow accordingly. A that means A, B that means B. But sharp capacity people like Atenika, they try to find out to understand the Dharma rather than just believe. Okay? So Buddhism is more intellectual. Besides Buddhism, other religions is more emotional, very emotional one. So that is different. Right? That's why Buddhism talk about cultivation, 修行, talk about you must have a wisdom. They say no money, no talk. No wisdom, no liberation. No arahat, no bodhisattva, no Buddha. Alright? So, however, the practice varies because of people different capacity. It's just a medicine, Dharma as a medicine. So medicine, there are so many medicine. Right? Depending on illness. What sort of illness? 你的病嘛. Right? If you have soft throat, people like this pandemic, the symptom people mostly get the soft throat. The soft throat, they give you soft throat medicine for soft throat or fever, Panadol or whatever. Right now. So in order to counteract what sort of illness you have, so that can be cured. Right? So the sutra and treatise, 经跟论. So what is the difference? Sutras, treatise, this is in English word, Sanskrit sastras. And scripture, sutra in English we call scripture. 经, 经啊, 念经嘅經啊, 經. And this treatise in Sanskrit called sastras. Sutra means scripture in English. And sutra was spoken by the Buddha, directly from the Buddha. 佛讲的. Like this 7 months, those people go for chanting, 地藏经. Siddhigarbha Bodhisattva, in Sanskrit, Siddhigarbha means 地藏菩萨. They 3 volumes, 3卷, right, for 地藏经. And those 经, 阿弥陀经 or whatever, Diamond Sutra, 金刚经, or Heart Sutra, 心经, whatever. When you say 经 Sutra, it means directly spoken from the Buddha. 佛直接说的 in Chinese. When you talk about Sastra, this is called 经, this is called 论. In Chinese. 论 means spoken by the great philosopher, eminent monk, 高僧, but not by the Buddha. That means those monk, he or she or lay people who fully understood this particular teaching from the Buddha and they try to interpret it in their own way, and this is called Sastra. So more on the philosophical kind of aspect 比较哲学。So therefore, when people giving a Dharma talk or Dharma class, Sutra is easier than Shastra. 经比论容易 because you follow Buddha directly. Whatever Buddha say, I just convey the message to the audience. So I won't face any challenge. You don't challenge me, you challenge the Buddha. You challenge him, don't challenge me. This is what he told us. Directly, exactly 100% from him. But Shastra is different, no? Shastra is from the great philosopher, how they understand the teaching from the Buddha. So different people have different understanding, different background. You know what I mean? Different experience. So therefore, Shastra is more challenge and even more difficult. So when people given a sutra talk in particular sutra, or Lotus Sutra, Fa Hua Jing, or Hua Yan Jing, this kind of sutra, Jing Gan Jing, and so on and so forth. And not difficult. The most difficult, more challenging one is Shastra. Know that? Okay, so back to here. So the Sutra and Shastra both actually are considered the teaching, but of course one is not from the Buddha, directly from the Buddha. But having said that, they also focus on prajna, wisdom. They talk about wisdom. Chanting, learning the Dharma class, of course, practice the Dharma. What we want is how to generate the wisdom in order to counteract our problem. Then eventually you can become Buddha or attain liberation, 解脱. So are the most closest guides for the practitioner of prajna. Okay? So can you see page 275? The center paragraph there. He said, for example, Nagarjuna. You know Nagarjuna? The second Buddha. This is how they claim it, the second Buddha. After Shakyamuni Buddha, that means the second seat. Just like in America, Biden is the president, vice president is Harris, the black lady, and now the troublemaker, Pelosi, House Speaker. So she's the third one, 第三号人物. You know, because in America, you know the politics, I heard the YouTube, 三权鼎立. That means three different parties have power, you know. America, no president, whatever he say, then 算数, no, he got authority. No, he got the parliament, house or whatever to counter check, make sure president didn't do anything go wrong, you know. So that's different system from other country. That's why I see Pelosi, you know, now become very famous in the world. Even underground ghosts also know her. So famous. Not only in this universe, Pure Land also know her. 海陆空, right? Okay. So Nagarjuna, the second Buddha, right? So when we talk about Madhyamika, Zhongguan, next time we're going to study this one. One of the different system of thought, philosophy in Mahayana Buddhism. And this Nagarjuna, we talk about emptiness, is actually proposed by him. And he was born in second Longshu Pusa in Chinese, Nagarjuna. Now he was born somewhere around here, 150 to 250 AD, around 2nd century. And it's very popular. And we should technically, he's one of the founder, when we talk about emptiness, Kong, or Madhyamika, Zhongguan, he's the one to propose that one, Nagarjuna. Okay? Longshu Pusa. Longshu Pusa, Nagarjuna, 大智度论, you see the bracket, Great Prajna Paramita Treatise. And this is a controversial issue, people trying to argue that. I mean, from the Buddhist academic point of view, some scholars will argue that this 大智度论 or Prajna Paramita Treatise is not really spoken by the Buddha. It's not a real treatise, 不是真的, you know, something like that in Buddhism. But some they try to argue that no, if you based on the teaching inside the teaching doctrines, it's actually spoken by the Buddha. Anyway, we are not doing the research. But I'm telling you from the Buddhist academic point of view, and this is a controversial issue because the different scholars, they are trying to argue, you know, say, no, this is not by the Buddha. They say, yes, this is by the Buddha. But anyway. But if you based on the teaching, according to Master Yin Sun, he also one of the PhD holder, he tried to argue that the Nagarjuna is actually this 大智度论, Prajna Paramita Treatise, Sastras, is actually by the Buddha. Okay. Now, consists of extensive explanation of Prajna Paramita Sutra. Sutra, when you explain the sutra, this is called treatise. How you explain the sutra, right? So, Nagarjuna, right? Those piece of word, blah, 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 blah. Okay, just read up by yourself. Are generally acknowledged to be treatises that rely on the Prajna Sutras in order to elaborate on the doctrines of empty nature of all things. Okay, empty natures of all things. We know that because the nature of emptiness, the nature of all things are emptiness. 性空, the nature of emptiness. In English, 性空, the nature of emptiness. It's just like, how are you going to see the nature of this computer, laptop? Through our naked eye. We only can see the form, the appearance of this computer. The monitor probably about 14 inches or 12 inches. The monitor. It's a small computer. The appearance. So that's why we say form. In English, there's a terminological form, 相, appearance. I can see your appearance, whether you're slim or fat, fair or dark, your skin. But I can't see your nature. So we can see through our naked eye. And this nature refers to emptiness. That's the reason why it's very difficult to tell people, to explain to non-Buddhists or even Buddhists, what is the meaning of emptiness? 空 and 抽象, very difficult. Right? So a lot of people say, wow, very profound, very difficult to understand. But as you know, emptiness doesn't mean nothingness. Right? When you say, oh, this is emptiness, doesn't mean that there's no computer here, but laptop is here on the table. On the table. This is a laptop. But this don't permanently exist forever. We call it everlasting. We're born in this world, and one day we will die. 生死. And this is a cycle. And since probably next time we're going to die together because the earth trying to destroy already. A lot of people try to, polluted air and so on. A lot of things happen. You see the air pollution, the environmental issue, ecology, 生态学, all in a mess. And who to be blamed? Human being. Our karma. And Buddha cannot do anything because the spiritual power cannot override the karma. It's our share, we are living in this planet, this earth. It's our share karma, 我们的共业. So we have to try to work together to solve the problems. Right? And we know cooperation. Who want to cooperate? And a lot of Chinese people are not cooperative. 我们华人最不团结. Only in Asia country, only one country very cooperated. Very cooperative one. In Japan. You see Japanese people, they are very cooperative. But not Chinese. We also Chinese are 华人. In the Western world, that's why I see the Christianity, Catholic, they have a system. Generally, of course they do have some problem. But generally, they have a system, they're very cooperative. But not us. So sometimes we have to self-reflection, But it's not easy, But only we are very cooperative when we having the same enemy, 共同敌人. You don't like him, you also don't like him. I think we are very cooperative, just like office politics. I hate lady boss. You also hate her, right? So we try to cooperate and try to torture her or do something, find some trouble with her. In Chinese, 当你有共同敌人, you are very cooperative one. This is a Chinese 特色 culture 文化. If you are very cooperative, I tell you, a lot of things can be solved, even for this pandemic. If you ever observe hygiene, everybody doing anyhow, throw the rubbish. You see, sometimes I walk along the road, I tell you see Singapore very garden city, very clean rubbish. Because of cleaner help to sweep the floor. But if you go to Japan, because I brought the group of students, went there for retreat. I only went, in my life, I only went one time Japan, Tokyo. I always heard people say very clean. But now I witnessed myself, I went there, oh my goodness, you hardly see the rubbish on the road, on the street. You don't even see the basket, 那个垃圾桶. When you see the paper on the street or on the road, they do anyhow throw one. They will pick up the rubbish, then they go home, then they throw at home. They don't throw in the public place one. And you see how we Singaporeans behave? Very selfish, very inconsiderate. It's just like, you got a COVID, you can see, nothing happened to me. But you don't know it's dependent origination, interrelated. Right? If you say Taiwan is the problem, China far away, 6 hour flight to Taiwan, 4 hours, nothing to do with me. We're in the global village, We affect each other. 他不好，你也不好的呢。So if you know the Buddhist theory, dependent origination, then you know what's happening. That day I read the Master Xing Yun. He talked about emptiness or whatever. There's a book. Then I try to figure out, yeah, correct. If those politicians over no emptiness, just like Pelosi, I see the Kajimpai. Then we know that emptiness, then we know that no self. What is famous later? Moreover, I'm going to report to hell. So I want to create something about, 万古流芳, so that in the history record, Pelosi visited Taiwan. The highest ranking one, American politician, visit Taiwan. So you just imagine how can China tolerate? Cannot. Sovereignty 领土 just like Singapore, right? It's the same thing. So they sing the 爱国歌曲. Right? If people like us in the army, you see those youngsters, I also serve army. So when you sing the song, national song, I tell you, your moral, but I don't know how about them. Right? The kind of spirit, my time. But now army, 真的水做的 most of the time. Okay, back to here. So, it said empty nature of all things. With regard to both the understanding and the practice of the study of Prajna, the various sutra and Prajna lineage, and the various treatises of the sect and state study Nagarjuna can be said on the closest guidance one can find. Because when we talk about Prajna, wisdom you will link up to Nagarjuna because he's the one to propose the doctrines of emptiness. Okay, last paragraph. So at this point, Prajna will be explained according to the guidance of these sutras and commentary. Commentary in terms of how they interpret the sutra, the meaning of the sutra, how they explain it, this commentary in terms of those treatises. Okay, shall we move on to another one? The contemplation of the two truths. Now, as you know, the truth, 真理, is only one truth. From the Buddha perspective, it's only one. Emptiness in Buddhism, this is the highest truth. 最高的真理. But for the sake of the sentient being, people like you and me, to tell us, because we are living in the relative world, right? As I told you before. We are living in this relative world. Tall and short, black and white, and so on and so forth. Fat and slim, 相对的. We are living in this relative world. And because we are living in this relative world, so therefore, in order to tell us what is the truth, of course, from the perspective of the Buddha, of course, the truth is only one, emptiness. But in order to explain to us, because we are living in the relative world, so therefore, we say two truths, according to Nagarjuna, 二谛, two truths, two. Okay? Now, so contemplation of the two truth, because this is something to do with the Prajna wisdom. Can you see the verse 163? All Buddhas following the two truth. All Buddhas. No need just to tell. How come he became Buddha? Because he also had to follow this theory, the two truth, and eventually realize one truth. Of course, go beyond that. Okay? So all Buddhas following the two truth, because they follow this two truth, to teach us, to teach all sentient beings. Right? So, teach sentient beings the Dharma. I told you right just now. Teach people like you and me, sentient beings, the Dharma. Because we are living in the relative world. You may want to argue that why two truths? Don't tell us one truth. Why go one bit wrong? Because we are living in this world. So to tell us what is happening in this world, from there then we go beyond this world. Right? In this worldly, mundane world, 世俗的世间, then we go to the world transcending Dharma. Worldly Dharma to world transcending Dharma. That means 世间到出世间. So one at a time, from existence to emptiness, from ordinary people to sages, 凡夫到圣人. Right? And this is the step, the stages, 不同的阶段. So teach sentient being the Dharma, following the conventional truth. So what are the true truth? One is called conventional truth. That means 俗谛, conventional truth. I will explain to you what is conventional truth. 俗谛. Okay, you refer to see the PowerPoint here. So the two truth, Chinese called 二谛. The Buddha's teaching of the Dharma is based on the two truths. Why? Because the Dharma is to teach the sentient being. Teach sentient being Dharma. The Dharma, just now in the verse, right? According to the textbook. So, teaching the Dharma is based on the two truths. So I tell you the reason why he discussed two truths. Because he wants to teach the sentient beings. And we are living in this relative world. Okay? So, a truth of the worldly convention. Okay, so what is conventional truth? Okay. Let me give you an example. I said, this is a laptop, computer, laptop. 笔记型电脑. And this is true because this is computer. You can just say this is a dog, this is a cat. Right? Or this is a boat. I think you must be crazy. Or this is the computer. And this is true, but this is conventional truth. And this computer do appear in front of you and me. So this is called, refer to assistance. Yo. Assist. Do assist in the world. He do appear in front of you and me. This is the laptop computer. And this is called conventional truth. Clear? And this conventional truth is depend on causes and conditions. 因缘和合 to form a computer. Just like this computer need a monitor, need a keyboard, a CPU, those computer chip and so on and so forth. Without those, how to function? Cannot be function. 不能运作. So this is called worldly convention. So what is the other one called ultimate truth? Ultimate. Right, this ultimate truth Chinese called 圣义谛. But you see, they do have the Tibetan tradition talk about truth and Chinese one. If you're interested, you can refer to my PhD. I published a book. Mine is actually also true, but in Chinese Buddhism. So in Chinese Buddhism, they express the two truth in the different, in the different way. Definitely, it's different from Tibetan tradition, but in the different kind of expression also, in terms of the name of the two truth. They go in pair, one pair. For instance, in Chinese tradition, when we talk about worldly truth, in Chinese called 熟谛. So in order to go one pair, 一对. Then the other ones we call 真谛, 熟真, 真谛. So in English called real truth, real. Anyway, this is very complicated. So just know about the two truth, right? 二谛. So this is called conventional truth. Now, so knowing the conventional truth existence, then you go further and you realize what is ultimate truth. So ultimate truth means emptiness. 有到空. Without knowing the existence, without knowing conventional truth, there's no way you will realize ultimate truth. Just to give you an example, without knowing this is a laptop computer and why is it appear in front of you and me, if you already understood the laptop is depend on causes and conditions, laptops are impermanent, although existence exists in front of us, but not permanently exists. It's all depend on causes and conditions, subject to changes. So the nature of the laptop is emptiness. So from there, then you develop further, and then you realize that from conventional truth to ultimate truth. So when you talk about conventional truth, you are attached to it because you say, oh, wow, computer spoiled already. I am fed up. How can this spoil already? Then I have to go and buy another one, but that's second hand or first hand. So you suffer. Wow, 很烦恼. So you fed up also. But if you know that this is actually subject to changes from the ultimate, right, the perspective of the ultimate truth, then you will easily cling on to it because you know that these are impermanent. One day the thing will spoil. So the thing spoiled already, then you try to get the new one, or no money, go and buy the second one. Right? And nowadays you see the handphone. I heard a lot of Singaporean one. I don't know, those students do not cost money get from parents. Wow, they will change to iPhone, whatever, $1,000, $2,000. I heard my student told me, I said, my handphone usually is just for calling or SMS or apps, that's all. No. Mine is Samsung, don't know what, and free one, because I signed a contract, free one. But you buy about $200. But students so rich, 很有钱的 student, 哇 iPhone, handphone, 我问多少钱？2000多块，哇，我不会为咯。Even got money also don't want to buy. You see those you also iPhone? Why? Sorry. You bought iPhone. No, it doesn't mean that you don't buy iPhone. Probably for some other usage, I don't know. When some people want to do a lot of things, depend. Mine is only calling, SMS. What should I invest to buy? So, and moreover, because I'm monk, and people stare at you, Wow, you high class monk. You told me say MRT monk. 骗我的 MRT, probably take taxi, call Grab or whatever, correct or And nowadays, they're going to Singapore in a few years' time, they're going to have a helicopter taxi, Singapore so small, helicopter taxi. You go to Shenton Way, Sampan, 5 minutes reach already. I think even a cup of coffee or touch reach the destination already. So next time I take the lift, so jam down there, right? Must I take a helicopter taxi? And come to the rooftop 6th story here. Take the lift 1 floor down, then 5th floor already, right? No jam. But they have to provide the transfer for me. Helicopter taxi. Okay, joking. Now, so following the conventional truth, one can attain ultimate truth. In other words, without knowing conventional truth, there's no way you will realize ultimate truth. Right? It's just like ordinary people. We are all ordinary people. We are all sentient beings. 我们是众生，我们是凡夫嘛 ordinary people. But one day we can become sages. From ordinary people to sages. You cannot one step 跳一步跳 then become sage, become Buddha. Right? So it's a kind of stages, 阶段, for me to become Buddha. So following the ultimate truth, can you review the textbook? So after following the ultimate truth, so one at a time. So once you realize emptiness, in other words, once you realize emptiness, once you already detach from the external object, external world, 没有执着, then this is our final goal, ultimate goal. One can attain liberation, 就可以解脱了. Right? We can transcend from the cycle of birth and death, 生死轮回. Right? So when you study Buddhism, you become Buddhist. Some people are very keen. I want to go to Pure Land. I want to see the Abhidhamma Buddha. Of course, this is our ultimate goal. 你要见阿弥陀佛吗? Yeah, this is our ultimate goal. 这个是我们的目标嘛. But before you reach the final destination, but in the progress of cultivation, 修行, we still have to recognize what we are living in this world are so imperfect. A lot of nature disaster, 灾难, whatever. And we have to experience it. And this is how you realize the emptiness. If you do without realizing emptiness, then there's no way you can go to the Pure Land or, become enlightened one, 成佛. So even you recite the 阿弥陀佛, name of 阿弥陀佛, 就算你念阿弥陀佛, but you still have to work. You still have to do some voluntary work. You still have to do your housework. You still have to take care of your family. You still have to interact with the friends, friendship, whatever, whether you like or you don't like it. 你喜欢也好，不喜欢也好. And this is called life. This is called life. And life, of course, there are so many problems. Right? And this is how we grow, 我们成长, how we develop. You see, I told my students, stress is something to do with this. I'm not talking nonsense. Stress, if you know the Buddhist theory, it's everything the same one. But a lot of people, they are not Buddhist. Even Buddhists, they don't know the Dharma, so they know what is going on. So, right? I always say AB, then triangle. And this is, of course, middle path. C. And we are living in this world here. You see, it recently happened in China and Taiwan. China fired the missile. I don't know this kind of weapon, but I learned. Because you can say, this has nothing to do with Dharma. As a monk, I don't care. Oh, you must know what is happening. So you know how to link up to Buddhism, to Buddha teaching. You will more appreciate what Buddha taught us and how we're going to apply in our daily life. And this is how Dharma can be applied in our daily life. from our perspective. You know, when China shoot the missile, they call 中风, I don't know in English. So that one, they shoot a curve like that, you know. And how come Taiwan cannot detect? Because, for instance, even in 爱国者飞弹, they're at this level, you know. 领空, Chinese call 领空, that means the sky, they have a range. I don't know how the international law. But if beyond that, like space already, space is very high one, you know, 太空, you know, those space ship or whatever, then come down. So this one we can't see. We are living below this one, 土地, ground. Just like we are living here. We are living here. So this is just like middle part whereby we couldn't see. Of course, we couldn't see, we couldn't understand. And we also don't believe. It's just like here. Two-way. So, if you and me have a differentiated mind, then we'll fall into the one of the extreme, because we thought this is permanent, and we cling on to it. Just like here, they talk about attain liberation. Then, if you know that these are the two extremes, but if you and me cling on to it, and this is called suffering. So, in other words, if you are living in the world, have a stress, whether too much stress, very extreme, or no stress, also no good. If you too much stress, it will affect your health, your mental. It's just that now recently, my student Dharma class one, such a pity. I said, 有起有落啦. He said now having working stress because change the boss. And the two daughters, 两个女儿, also giving a lot of problem. Mental problem. 忧郁症, 你知道吗? Mental problem. Because one is bullied by school in primary school. Luckily, when I was in primary school or secondary school, I don't have people to bully me, you know. Because last time we are very independent one. Nowadays, the student cannot take the stress, you know. You see in South Korea, 在学校被欺负的 bully, and this one they affect their mental, you know. 他说他最小的女儿 B3, bullied by boy, one of the boy, the classmate, and she unreluctant to go to school. Every time 不要去学校. So you must find out the reason why she don't want to go to school. If she don't want to go to school, there must be reason behind one. And if they not want to tell you, you don't know the problem and cannot be solved. Even 你求佛没有用的. You ask me also 没有用的. You must go for the counselor, and the parents, usually the children don't tell the parent one. Because they are so close, know him very well, or she know her. 他不会跟你讲的. 他最多是跟 mother 讲. You will talk to mother. Why? Because same gender 嘛, 都是女孩子嘛. But the girl won't tell father one. 我较假了. No matter mother scold her, get scolded, torture her, they will still go back to mother one. 很奇怪的. 女孩子会找女孩子的. 她的孩子很奇怪. So if the mother do not know how to educate, don't know how to console her, don't know how to help her, I tell you. You know the other one, the eldest daughter, she also got a problem, mental problem, fail a lot of subject. 我说奇怪，我说她不是读书还 OK 吗？至少 pass 啊 ，don't expect to pass with flying color distinction or whatever, but at least pass 嘛，50分60分嘛。You study you pass 嘛。Oh fail so many subject, 哇，the father 头痛。And she told me, her classmate suicide, secondary school, no, 自杀死掉 because of family problem. The parent divorce. I mean, a lot of people divorce. So you see, a lot of students now, youngsters, they cannot take the stress. You know, last time, we go to school, you go by ourselves, no? You know, our school bag also change to a very heavy one. We like that. Look short, shorter and shorter. But nowadays, you see the parents, how they pamper the student, the children, or fetch you to the school, and also want to bully the security guard some more, the parent. The news came out, right? So do you think it's good? If we pamper too much, they cannot be independent. Everything depends on the parents. They can't take the stress. I tell one thing, so this is extreme. Too much stress, no stress, pamper the children, too extreme. So if you know the middle path, in the certain condition, You don't get very stressed, but you also say don't no stress. So stress sometimes is good, no? But too much stress, extreme, no stress, liao. You're going to the extreme one. That's why middle path, what Buddha taught us middle path is correct. Can be applied in so many areas, in our life. Okay, back to here. So following the ultimate truth, so one can attain liberation. Talk about this one. Yeah, then you can apply in your family, your daily life. That is called Dharma. 因为佛法都不能用，没有屁用啊 ，no use 啊，对喏。No, just 真，你有保佑我，你马上 go to 西北咯 ，Waterloo Street， you go to 拜神就好了嘛，对喏。You go to Taoism 嘛，没 Taoism Buddhism, of course, a lot of people treat it the same. And nowadays the 7 month, now government very smart. Before 7 months come 七月 they ask you not to anyhow burn the incense paper. You burn okay, I respect your religion, but don't anyhow throw and all in the mess. And you see a lot of places. You burn,你 tidy it up You can't say cleaner to clean. Like cleaner no job, rubbish. Cleaner no job. 强词夺理 Some people say, if I clean for them, they go no work, nothing to do. They will lose their job. 你讲废话嘛？讲这个强词夺理嘛 ？Rubbish 嘛 ？You're talking nonsense 啊！所以 burn, this is a behavior and of course Buddhism don't encourage you to burn and they will tell you the reason why not to burn. But we respect those Taoism when they burn. Right? Singapore talk about harmony. You don't anyhow, criticize people. People have a freedom to believe in certain religion. Quite enough, we cannot criticize, we respect them. You see, this is also something to do with Buddhism, how we behave. If you cause people in problem or into trouble, people 烦恼, you also create karma, bad karma. 因为你害到人家起烦恼了。So can't you think that this is not a logic? You burn to the God or burn to the deceased people pass away, you ask them to bless you, and yet you cause the air pollution, you make the place in the mess, and 造成人家的烦恼。那 the cleaner 一水呸，哦哟 ，the very dirty. I mean the cleaner 啦，假设讲 just tell you, people say, 哇，跟 so many rubbish. Then people 起烦恼 suffer already. And you also create a karma, no? One way you want to have a merit, then the other way you create a karma. So 一减一 back to 0. No merit, what can I call? Right? Simple logic, common sense. And those people do know. Selfish. 哎呀，阿爸阿媽保庇阿媽，我調俾表534哦，5354 534呢條。你要 create a lot of karma， 你可以調俾表啊。Must be crazy 喎，係咯。Okay, turn to next page. So this one you read up by yourself. You go to page 277. 我跟你讲，这个很多东西的。I tell this module actually have to rush. If I were to talk in detail, 跟你講 more than 16 lessons. 我没有骗你的。You compare with module 1, module 2 the last chapter a lot because this is very profound one. We talk about wisdom, and wisdom not that simple like 智慧就好，空。That's why in Singapore, you see a lot of people don't teach this textbook. Even they teach the last chapter, 没有几个人教。我不是说我厉害It's telling you it's not so easy 咯。Okay, can you see the verse 164? Everything that is conventionally established in the world, just like computer, I told you the flower, the statue, the chair, the table, aircon, so on and so forth. These are called conventionally established. Means those things are depend on causes and conditions. 因缘的 subject to changes. They are not permanent, they are impermanent. This is called conventional established. Just like climate, weather, and so on and so forth. You talk about the weather, we are very lucky, very fortunate. You see in Singapore, last few days is every year almost cloudy, then sometimes occasionally got rain or whatever. You look at other countries, Spain, France, England, 40, 43 degrees. In China, Shanghai, Beijing, 热死你啊 They say put the egg on the road, the egg sick it out. So you just imagine how, even you put the dry ice, the thing within 1 minute, melt, 溶掉. So hot, the temperature. Singapore not too bad. That's why I say weather moderate. The most 34, 35 degrees. But we already count, grumble a lot already. But compared with them, you're still very lucky. You know? They say you want to go to heaven. This is a human heaven. No? What you expect? I mean, to me, you ask me, Singapore is a place good to. It's a place to good to live, But if you want to go for tour, then you have to go out. I mean, Singapore is very small, right? But do you think tour is important or living is important? Living is you're going to live forever, no? So time is longer, no? You go for tour, how long you can go? 1 week, 2 weeks, or whatever. You know, just now a lot of Singaporeans go for tour already. Even this pandemic haven't finished, they still go. The airplane, the ticket very expensive, still pay. Right? Because they are very rich. But luckily they go, otherwise no business, you know. Those are heroes, so we really have to appreciate them. 希望他不要中 COVID. You see nowadays Singaporean, a lot of people 中 COVID. You go to the roadside and ask her. You know, one of the students, she asked me very directly, very rude one. You know, she asked me, 师父你中了吗? You know the question? 你中了吗? Do you know the 你中了吗? 就是说我们很多都中了，你中了吗? 他希望你中。You know, you can see now the population now about 170多万. Singapore is about 5.6 million. Now 1.7 million, they got the COVID, you know. So you work out the percentage, about 26% to 27%. It means out of 10, 3, they got the COVID, you know. Right? Because when they're living with virus. Some they have a different symptom, some have a side effect, tasteless or whatever. That one even worse. Some people very mild one. Now our foreign minister came back from Cambodia. Wei Wen, 外交部长, foreign minister, he got a COVID also. So when you see the parade, National Day, you cannot go. You have to stay at home and watch television. Madura, Singapore. Okay. So everything that's conventionally established in the world can be recognized by name and speech consciousness. 名跟色 in Chinese. Again, this is a Buddhist terminology. We'll explain it later on. This one, name and speech. So name, perception, and things are conventional. 名, soul. And you know this, one of few of the 5 skandha, 5 aggregates, 五蕴, to make up a human being. So all these are conventional, which means that all these are depend on causes and conditions. They are impermanent. They are emptiness. 才能够名假跟受假. 假 conventional. Conventional means that one is the thing is not real. When you say the thing is not real, means that the things are impermanent, emptiness, subject to changes. That's why in Buddhism talk about impermanent cause suffering. Right? Just a weather changing, climate change. You know, pandemic, sometimes up, sometimes down. And this cause suffering. I mean, if you are going to easily influence by the external object, and we cause suffer. This is how we cause suffering. So, but the conventionally true and false should be skillfully differentiated. So you must have a wisdom, skillfully. You must have upaya, 方便. You must have a technique, skill to differentiate. That means you must have a wisdom to differentiate. Oh, this is dependent on generation. We shouldn't cling on to it. The things are impermanent. Okay, so you go back to this upaya, 方便, skillful. Sanskrit 方便, Sanskrit upaya. So in Mahayana Buddhism, especially in the Lotus Sutra, 法华经, one of the chapter, they solely talk about upaya, 方便品. In other words, in Theravada Buddhism, they hardly talk about upaya, the concept of upaya. That means skillful mean. Only in Mahayana Buddhism. 大乘. So you take a look what is upaya. Mahayana Buddhists often use the word upaya. Right? Upaya. Which is translated as skillful mean, or sometimes translated as expedient mean. S-E-S-P-E-D-D-I-E-N-T. Expedient mean. Same, right? It's the same meaning. Skillful mean also this one here. Or expedient means. Very simply, upaya is any activity that helps others realize enlightenment. Any activity. For instance, you come here for Dharma class, and this to help us to realize enlightenment. So everybody want to become enlightened one. I mean, you know. 我们就是要开悟嘛 Enlightenment means 开悟嘛 So this is one of the activities. Chanting, 念经 also one of the activities. 拜忏, 念经, whatever. Dharma class, Dharma talk, also one of the activities to realize enlightenment. Because through this one, or another activities, you practice the Dharma directly in our daily life. 修行啊. Oh, of course, this is very important activities in order to realize enlightenment. Right? So, in other words, this is an indirect method. 间接的, it's not a direct method. It's not direct, indirect method. So, when you talk about indirect method, 间接的, so therefore, we shouldn't cling on to it because it is one of the progress in the progress of realized enlightenment. So we shouldn't cling on to it. Even we learning the Dharma, the Buddhist theory, upaya, conventional truth, ultimate truth, non-dual, absolute, middle path, and so on and so forth. But we shouldn't cling on to it because when we from this shore of suffering to across to the other shore of Nirvana, 此岸到彼岸 in Chinese. So once you reach the other shore of Nirvana, so this one you can throw away already. You don't need any more. Why not? So it's the same thing. Okay? Because our purpose is to realize enlightenment. Okay? Okay, back to the textbook. Now, he said, but the conventionally true and false should be skillfully differentiated. Right? Skillfully differentiated. Can you turn to the next page? 278. Some I just highlight to you, go back to read up, because you have to spend a little bit of time to read up. If you just listen like that, I don't think so you can fully understand. Especially all this all talk about prajna. Prajna is a very profound one. Okay, you can refer to page 278, the second paragraph. The conventional designator includes everything in our common sense knowledge. The mind, specifically name and speech. Consciousness. Okay? Perceiving things, perceive things. So when an image or concept appears in our mind, right? When the image and concept appears in our mind, we differentiate between this and that. Right? Correct? We try to differentiate. This is boy, this is girl, this is computer, or this is whatever cup, something like that. Try to differentiate it. So since this differentiation is similar to the way that language give names to objects, just like I say, this is computer, this is a clock, this is a pen, and so on and so forth. This is a table. So it is called perception. Perception through name and speech. It's our how you perceive. It's how you perceive. So this is called perception. Okay? Can you see the next page? Next paragraph, sorry. The consciousness of our sense organs, eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. You learned it before. 六根, six consciousness, 六识. All coordinates in this manner. All such cognition comes from habitual mental state. Our habit already, habitual. So one accept the way the world is, just as it is. So a lot of people, how come they are so really a lot of problems, suffering? Because they cannot accept the fact. 你要接受的. You see a lot of old people, recently I visited one of my very good supporter, 93 years old, 93 了. Really Buddha blessing, with Buddha blessing. It's quite healthy, but, physically, he cannot take MRT, cannot take taxi or whatever. So basically, he cannot come for my Dharma class or Dharma talk. So instead of, very supportive one, I know for so long, instead of I have to, go there to visit him. And, he told me, he said, wow, last time, 师父, 我以前, I can do this, I can do that. Then always I tell the student, in Hokkien, we say, 以前馬打情地課. The last time the police were at the shop, it's not a pen, Probably you all don't know, your generation, my generation. And he keep on telling, during my young time or whatever, 你會很痛苦, because you have to accept the fact that now I'm old already. 我要享清福的, because I have a filial son and daughter, 我會孝順女兒. And one is lawyer, they earn a lot of money. So, basically they can give you pocket money. You don't need to think so much thing already. You don't need to worry about them because he got the grandchildren already. 还有孫的嘛，都結婚了，有孩子了，孫. So you must think about how you going to pass the rest of your life. It's just like today newspaper came out, Sunday time. You say, how am I going to, after my retirement, I somehow try to adjust my life. Some people plant the flower, those plant, take a plant. Some people do some voluntary work. Come to Buddhist lodge. You can wash toilet also can, because usually the dirty place is toilet. They say here the toilet very dirty one. You know the head. They volunteer go and wash. They say especially the female toilet. I heard 我说女孩子的 toilet 不是很干净吗？他师父你错了，我们的最肮脏的。我说是吗？ I think sama for me also. You see, even in the temple, public toilet, who care? 如果起出来你不乖乖嘛 your house must clean, make sure very clean. You come here, I don't care. This is a public place. But I don't forget, this is a Buddhist temple, no? Then in the main hall, you say, 阿弥陀佛。你看，阿弥陀佛，那 toilet。你看啊 differentiated mind 分别心啊，你看 this is called differentiated mind 咯。Can't you think that 阿弥陀佛会带你去 Pure Land 吗 ？Before, if I'm 阿弥陀佛I said, okay, can. You try mining, I bring you there to Pure Land. But before I bring you to the Pure Land, please wash the toilet first. Make sure the toilet is clean. So make sure you have a conventional truth before you go to ultimate truth. It's the same logic. Make sure that here the place is clean. Because it's a Buddhist temple to how to attract people to learn Buddhism. This is a front line, So before you go to the Pure Land. So it's the same logic. Okay, so here, this is called convention. It's the last paragraph. So that which is conventionally established may be easy to understand or not so easy, but it can be divided into three groups according to here. This, again, another Buddhist terminology. One is called conventionally destination, 明假. Chinese called 明假. What does it mean, 明假? It's something like whatever name in this world, computer, cup, clock, table, all these are conventional names. Provisional name, K, because we name it and can be changed. Subject to changes, they are not permanent. The other one is also conventional perception, 受假, your feeling, whatever. And the last one, conventional thing. All those things are not permanent. Whatever you see it in this phenomena. So sometimes if you know this theory, you know that I'm not so calculative, let go, don't bother people so much, because all these are conventional, delusion, unreal, not permanent. 或者你跟他一般见识算了。So you become not so calculative already. 人都要死了，算。You see how come a country will become war, fight each other? Very funny, ma. They say this is mine, or whatever, then try to argue. Why can't we live peacefully? All this land or whatever, or one stone or one small island, all these are 假的. According to Buddhism, because you know how they form the island? According to the scientists, long time before that, they actually under the ocean, under the sea, So because of the earth, everything changes, the condition, then they pops out above the sea level so that we can see. I heard, I don't know. 从没有到有嘛. So they above the sea, you can see the island, the land. Who knows? Next time, subject to change, right? They will go under the sea. No more. Right? I think will happen. Impermanent. So when you are Buddhist, you know the theory, 看破啦. 看破. You see, people say 看破. Okay, see, here is 破, but this one never 破. 衣服破掉, the clothing torn already, then go and buy. Go to Orchard, you ever go and buy the good clothing, spend a lot of money. 破掉了吗? Or old already ma. But they forget about this one, mental one. Like that. So, can you see the page 279? The other one, conventional, the rest read up by yourself. The other one, you see the center one, a conventional thing, 法甲, conventional thing. This 法 means all things. In Sanskrit, they write small d, right? I told you before, right? Small d, Dharma. Big D is a Buddhist teaching, Buddha teaching, Dharma, right? Small d and capital D is different meaning. So a conventional thing refers to the smallest entity, which, after being analyzed, does not lose its inherent nature. What do you mean by inherent nature? 自性. Again, this is a quite important terminology in Buddhism. You see, inherent nature, 自性. You look at the PowerPoint. The inherent nature that exists in all beings, even you and me. Right? All things, all beings. In Mahayana Buddhism, enlightenment is a process of uncovering this inherent nature. We talk about these inherent natures are emptiness. Or we say lack of inherent nature, lack, L-A-C-K. 无自性, 他说没有自性. So what do you mean by inherent nature? Means permanent nature. All things are permanent. Will never change. This is called inherent nature. But this is not true according to Buddhism because all things are subject to changes, right? So he said lack of inherent nature means equal to emptiness. Right? Refers to emptiness. So uncovering this inherent nature, and of course this inherent nature I told you before, we cannot see through our naked eye. We cannot see through our naked eye. So the Buddha nature is identical. 佛性 I told you already, Buddha nature means potential enlightenment. All beings, all sentient beings possess Buddha nature. 我们众生都有佛性. And that's the reason we can become Buddha. Even include those non-Buddhists. Whether you're Muslim, whatever, Christianity or Catholic. And today you read the newspaper, it came out. There's a guy introduced Jainism, 耆那教. You look at the statue, if you take a glance, you're shocked, It just look like Buddha, Buddha statue, But this is a Chinese one. Jade Buddha, last time when I was in the Bristol, the scholar came to our department to give a talk. And they show us the PowerPoint. I saw the statue. I said, hey, this is a Buddha statue. No, it's their God. They also observe 5 precepts. But they believe they have to cover a piece of white cloth in their mouth to prevent, when you breathe, there's a kind of, we can't see one, those virus or whatever. They have a kind of, we call it living beings. And try not to kill them. So we are talking about no killing in Buddhism. It's not to kill human being in Buddhism. If you say do not to kill those we can't see one, then you wear the mask, of course you can breathe. If you keep on wearing for a long time or whatever, you cover it, then how to breathe? You will die already. Right? So it's different from Buddhist teaching. Anyway, so the Buddha nature is identical with this transcendental reality. Transcendental, 超越, right? So the unity of the Buddha with everything that exists. Okay? So in other words, this inherent nature means 自性. Lack of inherent nature, 无自性. In Chinese called 无自性空. So because of lack of inherent, all things are lack of inherent nature, therefore I say emptiness. All things are emptiness. So 诸法是空 in Chinese. Okay, can you turn to page 280? Okay, can you see the verse 165? 你看，我跟你讲很多a lot, I tell you. So you go back to read, 你头大大. Okay, verse 165. How does inherent nature exist? So the concept of this inherent nature is very profound. So this can be discovered. How? Of course, I told you just now, we cannot see through our naked eye. But how do you know this thing exists? Right? How does this exist? Inherent nature exist. So this can be discovered by the wisdom. Only we have a wisdom, the wise one, they know. right? 有智慧 It means you know, fully understood or fully understood the reality, true reality, 实相 of things, all things in the phenomena or in the world. So when you talk about true reality, 实相 means emptiness. 实相 true reality. Because you and me, how we suffer? Because we didn't really realize, understood the true reality. Like you see computer, this is not true reality. This is only the appearance. You just see the computer. But even though the computer is emptiness, lack of inherent nature, subject to changes or whatever, and we know the emptiness of this computer, of course not see through our naked eye, and this is called true reality. 实相. So here they say this can be discovered by wisdom in accord with the ultimate truth. I told you before, right, just now, ultimate truth, 真谛 means emptiness. I tell you, so very confusing one. 不要讲你们啊 those student monk 和尚也听不懂，他们那些小和尚。So don't worry, you try to pick up a bit by bit, right now. So probably your next time you know even better because you planted the seed there already. Just ingrained in your brain, right, mind, right? So when you reborn to the next life, oh yeah, 2022 I came to Buddhist lodge, you know. I studied Mahayana, this sixth perfection. I did study this one. So I did have some impression there. Alaya, 8 consciousness according to Buddhism. So next time I come to Buddhist lodge, who know? Next life. So you very fast on, you get absorbed. Oh yeah, I learned it before. But now of course for you is everything is new, right? 一片空白. Okay, can you turn to page 282? Now, can you see the first paragraph? Extraordinary truth. That's why this is another expression. Means ultimate truth. 圣义谛. Extraordinary truth. It's the personal experience of ultimate reality. That's why I say wisdom is sort of like experience. Life experience. Just like you apply the Dharma in your daily life, then you experience in our daily life. Right? And everybody have a different experience. Personal experience. So it relies on the investigation because you have to investigate why this thing happened in order to know all things are lack of inherent nature, all things are emptiness, the nature of emptiness. So you need to investigate to really have to work out, to find out, not just simply just believe accordingly, blind faith. We call it blind faith. Of ordinary phenomena to explore ultimate, inherent nature. So this kind of investigation is called the wisdom that comes from investigation. So which is in accord with extraordinary truth, means ultimate truth. Okay? So we move on to another verse, 166, verse 166. Suffering comes from confusion and karma. You learned it in your module 2, right? 祸业苦. Can you remember? You know how we suffer, right? All the people say 业障重 or whatever, because of karma, heavy karma. But we know the original cause, 原来的原因. Confusion. That's called 祸. Karma. Dukkha, suffering. And back to confusion again. So 祸 in Chinese, confusion means affliction, 烦恼, mental defilement. Why we have a heavy karma? 为什么业障很重？哦，业障真重啊！ You ask those auntie whatever, they can tell you only things is they know they stop at here. Yeah, heavy karma. Oh, 业障真重啊！阿弥陀佛，保庇保庇。They say this is why I'm suffer. It's correct. It's correct. But this is not a full answer because they didn't go back to the original cause. How can we have a karma? 为什么我们会造业？ Because of confusion. We confuse, no wisdom. 因为烦恼. That's why in Buddhism, when you talk about cultivation 修行, because you want to counteract 对治, counteract this confusion. 要断烦恼。Buddhism is a religion to counteract mental defilement or affliction. So here, they say suffering comes from confusion and karma. Yeah, you see back to here, right? But confusion is the original cause before karma. In other words, because of confusion, that's why we have a karma. We create a bad karma, 做坏事嘛。恶业，以前说恶业。Karma can be good and bad. Just like now we come to study, this is a good karma because it put into action. Despite of pandemic, despite of the Sunday, you're supposed to rest at home or supposed to go out, gai, but you prefer to come here, right? And this is a karma, the action, you put it in action, right? So which come from the discrimination. Discrimination means 分别 discrimination, right? Because I told you already, because if you discrimination, you will fall into the two extreme, right? And fall into two extreme, we definitely have a karma. We definitely, because of confusion, that's why we have a differentiated mind and have a discrimination 分别, and we form the two extreme. When we form the two extreme, and then we suffer. The last one. And we suffer without wisdom, then we go back again, round and round and round and round. But if now, we are suffering now, for instance, but we learn Dharma, we know what is karma, what is confusion. So we will try to stop it. Make sure we have a wisdom through the knowing the Dharma, and we practice, have a good karma, and we try to stop the confusion with the wisdom. Then we can attain liberation. 我们可以解脱了。Congratulations. So discrimination evolved from, how come we discriminate the thing 区分分别呢? According to here, discrimination evolves from meaningless elaboration. What do you, this is another Buddhist terminology. What do you mean by meaningless elaboration? Chinese called 戏论. You heard it before, right? 戏论. Meaningless elaboration. There's another term also, but of course, from the textbook, they use meaningless elaboration. Chinese called 戏论. You look at Chinese word 戏论, wayang show, it means 人生如戏嘛, in Chinese 嘛. Everybody, everyday pray, like 演戏这样, you know. So there's a Chinese a phrase, they say, 人生如戏, 戏如梦, 何必太在意. So you don't bother so much, right? A different scenario, every day different show. You know. Scenario A, scenario B, keep on changing one. So you don't bother too much. Of course, you have to sometimes think you have to really take responsibility, right? But you don't influence, highly influence. Highly influence doesn't mean that you won't influence, but to minimize, don't highly influence by the external object or external world. 外在的境界. And this minimal elaboration means things are not unreal. Go back to the existence. Because things are dependent on causes and conditions. Right? So all these are meaningless. They are, that's why they say meaningless. Of course, if you read the inside the textbook, then probably the author will explain to you more in detail. Huh? So this is what I can tell you. I just highlight to you in short. So meaningless elaboration can be eliminated. How to eliminate 断除? How to eliminate this meaningless elaboration? By the contemplation of emptiness. 观空. So emptiness is to counteract existence. 空对之有. This go back to what I told you just now. So meaningless elaboration refers to existence. 有. So I'm correct. Meaningless elaboration 戏论等于有 refers to existence. But this existence is a conventional existence. Unreal, not permanent. Okay? So by contemplation of, you have to contemplate 观那个假有嘛. But how to 观? By using this so-called like concept of emptiness. So emptiness is to counteract existence. 空对之有. Clear? Just like how to solve the problem. We say how to solve the problem. Right? How to solve this pandemic problem. Everybody have to observe hygiene, or wearing a mask. This is how to solve this problem, or to minimize the problem. Okay, can you turn to page 284? Actually, there are a lot of things I want to tell you about time constraint. So I just highlight to you. You go back and read up. If you don't understand, then you come back to me. Wow, time's out already. Okay, here, you see the subtitle here, page 284. The contemplation of twofold emptiness. 两种空, twofold emptiness. You see 167, the verse, all things arise from causes and conditions. 诸法因缘生, I told you already, right? All things arise, all things are dependent on causes and conditions. 诸法因缘生. What arises conditionally is empty. This empty refers to the nature of emptiness. And the nature of computer or whatever cannot see through a naked eye. That's why a lot of people don't understand, also cannot understand. And people want to elaborate or to explain to the other party, also very difficult. You know the truth is beyond word. And moreover, we cannot see through our naked eye. Who want to believe? 我们都没看到，我不相信嘛。Just like I don't see the God, I don't believe in God. I don't see the Buddha, I don't believe in Buddha. I mean, wow, this is a fact. And also reasonable. If I don't believe, I don't see it, how you expect me to believe? Then this becomes superstitious already. Right? You cannot blame them also. So, Buddhism talk about emptiness, and this is very profound, also difficult to explain to people, to make sure people understand it. Therefore, it's very profound. So a lot of people have a so-called misunderstanding of Buddhism. So, what arises conditionally is empty without that means lack of inherent nature. I told you already, 无自性嘛. That means all things are lack of inherent nature, including you and me. We born in this world, one day we will die, we will leave the world. You see, the life is so short, you know. How long you can live? In Singapore, the newspaper came out, in average, our age. A lot of people take supplement because of money. Let's say know how to take care of yourself. How long you can live in Singapore, average, the age? 83.2 years old. Okay, let you have a longevity, you live until 100 years old, 120 years old, just like Japanese people. But year after year, time is really fly, you know. Right now, 你现在40多岁, pandemic 3 years already. I see a lot of people, a lot of things happen, you know. After pandemic, I saw them, you know, came back to the classroom and study. I see, wow, change a lot. Change a lot. Probably we also change a lot, but we don't know. Right? Impermanent. So being empty, all things are neither born nor extinct. 不生不灭. Because it says born, they are not permanently born. You say extinct, die, you are not permanently dead. Right? Your reincarnation and rebirth again. So it's impermanent. So, but are always in perfect stillness. This perfect stillness means jijing in nirvana, because emptiness still there. Emptiness, nature, inner nature, emptiness, that one won't change. Only this one won't change. The rest of the thing are delusion, all changing all the time. Yeah. So if you got time, you go and read up. Huh? Okay, so today we stop here. Due to time's out already. Okay, so enjoy your National Day. Huh? Okay, please hold the palm and follow me. Shall we do the dedication? May all the merits thus accumulated be dedicated to all sentient beings. May all sentient beings and I together attain Buddhahood. Okay, please stand up. Please hold the palm. One bow to the Buddha. Okay, see you all. Enjoy your lunch.
Okay, see you in 2 weeks' time.